Now that we have set up the DB context in our project, next thing is to set up a model. What is a model? Model will be treated as tables in Entity Framework Core. So if you want to create a new table, you have to create a new model inside your application. So we'll go to Solution Explorer and we have the models folder. Let's add a new model. It will be a class file and we will call this category. First we'll make it a public class and we'll start with simple. Let's say we only have 2 columns in our category table. We want a category ID and the next column will be category name. So what we'll do here is we'll add a property, we'll do prop and press tab twice. First thing here, we'll call this category ID. And we'll go to the end, we'll create a new property. We'll call this as string and name for the category. Now rather than category ID, let me call this ID for now. Those are the 2 properties that we want. ID is one of the property which will be the primary key for this table. And we want it to be an identity column. What it means that it will automatically increment it by 1 every time a new record is inserted. That way we do not have to pass it when we create a new category inside the table. How do you configure ID to be an identity column? Right now you do not have to do anything. With this naming convention as ID, EF Core takes care of that by default. If you had named it as category ID, you would have to explicitly tell EF Core to make it a primary key. That's why for now I have changed it to use just ID. That being said, we have to add this new table to our database. But you might be thinking we don't have the database yet. We have not created any of the database. How do you do that? Let's worry of database in the next video. For now, what if you want to add this table? You have to tell EF Core that hey, this is a model that you should see. If it exists in the database, do not do anything. If it does not, create a new table for my category model. We'll do that using our DB context, which is application DB context. Inside here, what we have to do is whatever model we want to add to our database, we create a property dbSet. So we'll say public dbSet here, and we need to pass the class name. You can see it expects a tEntity, where tEntity is a class. So what class we want to push to the database to create a table? That is the category class. So we'll do category and we'll press Ctrl dot to add a using statement for wislib_model.models. What name we want to give to our table is what we'll type next. Let's make it categories with a plural. And then we'll have the getter and setter. That is all you had to do. Once you add this line in the DB context and you do certain steps, it will automatically create the table inside the database. That being said, we need to understand what are the next steps that we need to do to make sure this is pushed to our database. Let's take a look at all of that in the next video.